to you from underneath a peach blossom. It's time for an episode of Be Awesome. Find positivity throughout your life and work, just like our mascot rooster, Steve the Jerk.
Good morning, Be Awesome listeners. This is Joshua Peach coming at you live in Ocean City, Maryland. It's a beautiful sunny day here, and I am excited to be doing episode 30 with a brand new friend of mine. This is what it's all about, truly why I do this, and in hopes of why I get something out of the podcast. And that's when there's a direct relation to a podcast guest that I have or an episode that I do that really strikes home with someone. And yesterday was the single greatest example for me that I've had in the course of this last year. So first of all, I've got my friend here, Jared Lehman. He's sitting with me for the next 30 or so minutes. And good morning, Jared. Thanks for being willing to do this out of the blue, low to no notice, early morning at this conference. But to Jared, backstory, Jared came up to me yesterday. I was on the trade show floor. I'm at a conference here, and walked over, and I was wearing my Be Awesome shirt, and introduced himself, and had shared this backstory about how he started listening to my podcast. It's kind of that 6 lines of separation. Yeah. And I'm actually going to let you tell the story because it actually comes better from you. But share how how we're sitting here right now.
Yes. Well, good morning. So I was telling Josh yesterday that I was in San Diego for a trade show conference, and on my way back, a friend of mine, Chuck Peterson, said, "Hey, Jared, I have this podcast," and I'm sitting on the runway in Philly, stuck on the plane, just waiting to get off. And I thought, he goes, okay, Chuck loves this podcast, as he likes to share them with me. So he said, this one's, I think, more special because of the connection to you. And he said it's Gus and family. And I thought, okay. And he said this family has a son with Down syndrome, and his name's Gus. And so do I. So my family, we have a 4-year-old named Gus Henry Lehman. So I listened to the podcast, and then I told Chuck, I said, Chuck was trying to describe Josh to me. And I said, boy, I think I saw Josh because I walked by someone in the hallway, and I noticed the shirt, even though I didn't know what it meant. I mean, I know what Be Awesome is, but I didn't know what the backstory was. I just thought the shirt was creative.
Yep.
So I thought, I saw that. So he's explained this to me in a conversation. I'm thinking, I think I passed him in San Diego. And so I said, yeah, I'll take a listen to the podcast when I get a chance. And I finally did. I did listen to it, and I said, I thank Chuck for sharing that with me because there's a ton of parallels with my family to their family, and I thought, this is incredible. What a small world. And I think Gus is a unique name to begin with.
Yep.
And even more unique that they have a son with Down syndrome named Gus, so that's the connection there.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, I'm looking directly across from my spot, and I see a Be Awesome shirt, and I look up and I see the company. I'm thinking that has to be Josh, so I got to go introduce myself, and so here we are.
Yeah, and here we are, and I mean that was just amazing and we had a dialogue of about 20 minutes and covered a whole bunch of different things, and so. You've got other kids, so give us a breakdown of a little bit about your family and.
Yep. So my wife Tasha, we have 4 kids. We have an 8-year-old named Emerson, and then we have a 4-year-old named Gus, and then we decided to go for another child, and we turned out to have 2 more children instead of just 1 more. So we have twin boy and girl. Charlie Crew and Olive Rose. So we have 4 total kids, my wife and I, so our house is pure chaos. So
yeah, that's I often say I've got 2, 12 and 17 months. I don't know how people do them so close together. Yeah. And anything more than 2, I don't know how you wrangle it up. It's got to be exhausting.
It is for sure, most definitely.
Yeah, let's talk about this for a second. Yeah. So you have Gus, and you shared that you went through a lot of the similar feelings that Dennis had. You sent you the blog last night. I don't know if you got the chance to kind of read through that, but as I talked to you about it, you said, hey, it's the exact same thing. You want to know what to do, high five, hug, congratulate me.
Yep.
We're happy. We love we love Gus. We're happy to have him, and it's not something bad. It's actually something great. But did you have any hesitation, or what was going to have more? Because you wanted to have more kids after Gus, right?
Right. So I think we didn't. You can do testing nowadays to kind of find out if there's a chance of something going on. We didn't elect that because one, it wouldn't matter because we're having the kids no matter what. So, but if I'm being honest, our first child, Emerson, we didn't have any issues. I mean, he was pretty textbook. Mm-hmm. Came out big, healthy baby. He got pregnant when we wanted to. Everything just kind of happened. And so my wife and I waited a couple years, and we're like, okay, let's have another. Everything was going well, same there too. And then when he was born, that's when there was some question marks. So if there was something going on. So that was, it's a humbling and terrifying experience at the same time because you don't really know what's going on. And then, so maybe.
It's all right. You can take.
Maybe. Give me a second.
Yeah, take your time. That's.
My wife would say too. I'm the emotional one, so.
Yeah. Amy says the same thing about me. I cry at Tide commercials.
No, I just think that it's an amazing experience that you really want people to know that, but there's real experiences too when you just you fear the unknown. That's what you do. You don't know what's going on. But the bottom line was we were between two names, and once we kind of were digesting the possibility Gus might have something going on, that's when we settled the name. I said, I think he needs to be Gus. Cool. And because I think he's going to do something pretty special.
Yeah.
But it's tough, though. I'm not going to pretend that I could give you the great lines that make it sound like, we were right in on board and everything's going great. My wife did. My wife, I will give her credit. She didn't flinch. She was great from the beginning. I was more questioning, like, what's this mean? What's that mean? I think that to connect the episode that we listened to about high five, not high five, I think for me it was we have lots of friends and family that were excited for us for the second kid, and so they're all waiting to hear the good news, and you felt like, am I giving good news in the moment? But for me personally, I just needed to tell everybody that knew that we were having kids, and once I was able to do that, then I felt a relief.
Yeah.
And I can't stress it enough that we hit the jackpot. I mean, Gus, we call him the town mayor because everybody loves Gus. Gus loves everybody. And really, it's just an amazing experiences we're having with him. And with all of our kids, too, so we don't want to slight our other ones, too. But I think Gus is going to be really good for them, and they're going to be really good for Gus. So,
yeah, you said that. Yeah. You said that yesterday, that it's evident that with your other kids, even the twins at one, that Gus is really impacting them in a positive way, in a positive light, that they don't even probably see it here, but long-standing will make a difference in their life in a positive way.
And Emerson, he's such a good big brother with him, and so all four kids are very different. So parents with multiple kids, it's like, how can they be so different from each other? But they are. Yeah. There's a lot of similarities, but we do have twins, Charlie and Olive, but we call Gus and Olive the naughty twins because they almost powwow out together and get into mischief on their own, and sometimes Charlie's collateral damage because Charlie's a little more laid back, and so. Yeah. We couldn't ask for better children. My wife and I are very lucky. Yeah. Very lucky.
When I, and thank you for sharing that. It was I know that there was a hard second or two there for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
No, don't. You know what? There's no apologies. I grew up. I never saw my dad cry. I never saw.
Yeah.
I never really saw emotion. I actually had an Uncle Gus, and that dude was like solid. He never showed emotion for anything. Yeah. And something happens, even for men that don't get emotional. One, as you get older, I think things happen. But the second thing is kids.
Yeah.
Kids tear you up.
Yeah,
something
for sure.
terrible. And like I say, I could cry at a Tide commercial now, and I don't think I couldn't remember getting emotional.
Right,
prior to kids. It's just it wasn't something I really thought I had in my DNA. So. They get on you, these damn kids, They
do, for sure. They do. I mean, it does change you for sure in a good way. I feel like I've always been as sensitive to others, and it's just been my makeup anyways. But yeah, I don't know why, but the Gus topic of talking it through gets me emotional. I don't know why exactly, but because it was such a tough experience in the beginning. And when I say tough, it was probably more selfish reasons than anything.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to, I'm get married. We wanted to have a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
And we didn't really know what that meant for the future of having kids, and so it was more a lot of unknowns that we got more answers for. Still are unknowns, but I knew in the moment, even though I was going through trying to process it. I knew at some point, like a year from now, this is gonna be amazing. You had to get there first.
Yeah, you had to get there.
And it had nothing to do with not loving Gus either. We were all in love and everything, but you still have emotions of not knowing what this means for the future. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you talk about we all have this vision, right?
Right.
You all get painted this picture of life with a white picket fence and 2.8 kids and a dog and everything goes smoothly, and then life happens and things happen, and then they're none of the things that are what are in our mind of what we expected that ideal perfect life.
Yep.
And what a lot of times we figure out through all of this is our ideal perfect life wasn't anything what we thought of. It's what we actually have and what we have the opportunity for. And that's where that emotion comes from, because you go, man, I was a little bit wrong with all this. This is pretty cool. And
it's awesome. It's awesome.
And you make the most and the best with everything. I shared the story with you with us in Chance, and we were a little bit different where you guys didn't have any of the upfront worries.
Yeah.
And we had, because of our age and because of our high unlikelihood of having more kids, doctors are putting into us that, you could have this issue, you could have that issue, let's do this test. What do you want to do if this happens? And, things I never even heard of, let alone could think about. And I know Amy and I had one conversation, and it was just like, as long as the baby has a smile, we're going to figure out what to do, but that's just an overwhelming just to think about. Never mind to be put into it, and never mind to be put into it the way that you and the Teravanians got put into it, where it was after the birth and after everything, and then having that, well, now I have to, everybody's waiting to hear the news. What do I tell them, and how do I say it to them, and how do I say it so that I want them to be happy for me and not feel badly for me?
It's true, and I don't think anybody, as far as our friends and family, they were all wonderful. There wasn't anybody. I think you'd have distinct memories of someone giving a reaction that wasn't positive. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have that. So we have a great, strong foundation for family. So our family's great. So we didn't have any issues that way. But I think everybody deals with it differently. Mm-hmm. My wife was super strong. She didn't. She was as long as he's healthy and okay, and then she's okay. And he was. I mean, we did have 2 weeks in the hospital, so that made it worse because you're kind of stuck trying to digest the possible news because you didn't know for certain. And then just being in a hospital, I mean, that's not fun to be.
No.
That doesn't help at all. So.
No, not when you want to get out as quick as possible,
right?
And get back to family and friends. Quick question, just randomly popped in my head.
Yeah.
We talked about you were in San Diego. You listen to the podcast in Philly. You know Chuck Peterson, who lives in Pennsylvania. We're in Ocean City, Maryland.
Yeah.
Where the heck do you live?
Ironically, I live in Montoursville, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So we always kind of, from those that aren't familiar with the area, it's close to Little League World Series, so 10 minutes from Little League World Series area. So that's where we live. We love the town, the community. Mm-hmm. It's very close. I mean, people are so good to us, and like I said, especially Gus. Gus walks around and he attracts a crowd in a good way. It's amazing. It's really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, from 8-year-old Gus in Easton.
Yeah.
I got that same. He's got the same mayor instincts, and just a smile that is just amazing. So, one of the things that we talked about, to shift gears a little bit, and I got the words. I had it written down. I got the words wrong, but the YMCA program.
Yes.
Because that's something pretty unique that I haven't. That was the first time I heard about it.
Yeah. So I'll try to connect it the best I can. And again, if my wife was here, you'd be more pleased. She'd be hitting this out of the park. She knows she'd just be doing a better job than me. But a person that used to teach. My wife's a kindergarten teacher. Mm-hmm. Person she taught with that retired, Diana Logan. She started a class at the YMCA on Saturdays from I think 10 to 11. And it's called Superstars, and it's for any kids with diverse abilities, which we never heard that before, and we really like that phrase, diverse abilities. And it's just nothing but exercise, music, and just a super positive experience for people with all kinds of diverse abilities. She'd been asking, she was asking Tosh that she should bring Gus, and Tosh had all intents of doing so, but with 4 kids, we get lost in the shuffle just trying to survive the day sometimes. But finally she got reminded again, and she went to it, and it's become a once-a-week deal, and Gus loves it. Emerson, my oldest, goes to it and helps with another boy, Nolan and Mia, his buddies from school, they go too. So it's a really amazing experience. So it's taken off. That I think the last class, Diana said something along, I got word in Philly that what she's doing, and I think there's something going to happen in Philly. I would plug it if I could, but I don't have any accuracy to plug it, so I'll have to maybe follow up on that.
So this is something that it sounds to me, I did a quick look, I really couldn't find anything out there, so it's a fairly unique or creative program that sounds like it's either started here or was started in 1 or 2 other places. I'd never heard that. Diverse abilities. I think it's a great saying. I think that the program.
That's Diana's slogan for saying it, and we never heard that either until she said it. And we thought, well, it's so true. And I think, Gus opened our eyes even more. And with my wife being a teacher, and have a lot more experience in different arenas for the kids. And I coach basketball, so I see different kids too. But we just thought, everybody does have different abilities, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And it's everybody. Like, I have something different to offer than maybe Tosh does, and Emerson has something different to offer than Gus does. And it just, I don't know. I felt like I was always a person that can sympathize with anybody. But I feel like Gus heightened it for me in a good way. And so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I think that, and something that I think I struggle with, and I think it's because of this, sadly, because of the system that we live in, where we go to school and we're all expected to perform the same.
Yep.
And there's always going to be someone that performs a little bit better, and there's always going to be somebody that performs a little bit worse, or maybe a few people.
Yep.
But for the most part, we're all in this kind of similar size box that we all should fit in, and that's the way that life should be.
Yep.
And again, it kind of goes back to that ideal perfect life that we expect. And all of these things. I'll segue, in a second on it as to what an example. But we have all these expectations in the education system,
right?
And we get out and we're all this box, right? And I think that the secret sauce and what's amazing and what is great about life is for everybody to be their own unique individual. That so often we're not.
For sure.
We weren't able to do that, growing up, and we're not able to, do that. I can say that, from a standpoint of, growing up and believing. I believe that my son should be playing sports.
Right.
I think he should be playing every sport, and he should be doing it 6 times a week, and he should do all this stuff, right? And that's because that's what I grew up in, and that's what most kids grow up in.
Yep.
And that's where most people feel that they should be. And, my 12-year-old is one of the most phenomenal 12-year-old artists and can draw and design and make molds and do all these things. Naturally gifted and going to courses and learning about it, and plays the piano and loves it. And I sit there and go, wow, this is what it's supposed to be like. But I get caught up in, what is the expectation?
Yeah.
I was telling you, I was watching my town meeting from down here in Maryland last night, and everybody was up in arms about, an artificial turf field and how much it should be, to go to this other type of field or whatever. Everybody's talking about all this, not talking about the money. Yet we're getting rid of the music program for 4th graders. And there was up in arms and discussions about it. People weren't ready to fight tooth and nail over it in some cases, and different ways of thinking about things. And I think that's just, it's a mindset. And Gus, and it sounds like you had it in you a bit, but Gus coming and being, a little bit different, a little bit better in a lot of cases, the mayor of your town, and giving you that insight and idea, and then that program. I think that opens your eyes to say, hey man, this is where the fun happens.
Well, it's just such a positive experience too, and it's free too. So that's one to throw that in there. No one's paying to be there. I mean, I don't know what behind the scenes, if there's anything being done. I don't know if it's just Diana being awesome like she is all the time, but. It's just, you walk in and there's volunteers there to help assist if you want any help, and it's just a super positive experience. And what draws Gus to it, Gus loves music, and he's got a great rhythm, so he gets that from his mom. But he loves it. If his jam comes on, he's gonna
belt it out.
He's gonna bring it. He's gonna bring it, and everybody's gonna follow suit.
Yeah, that's great. And how many kids are in the program?
I don't know. If I had to ballpark it, I bet you there's probably 20 to 30 that show up somewhere around there. But I don't know.
And how long has it been going on for?
Longer than we've been going there. Again, Tosh would be able to tell me better. Because what we would do is we would divide. Someone would stay home with the twins, so they could do their napping, and Emerson and Gus would go. So typically Tosh was the one going, but the last one until I think they're taking a break for the summer, then it comes back on later on this year. The last one was last weekend, and I thought, I got to make this one because I haven't been to it yet. And I went, just super, super awesome. The people are so kind and positive, and it's just a very uplifting experience. And anybody that can volunteer and do those things should do it, because it changes your mindset. You know what's important to you in the moment when you're stressed out, and you go to experience something like that. It's just a blip on the radar. You don't even have to be. You shouldn't be stressing the way you do. You should be enjoying life and enjoying those around you.
It's the 1 hour in the week that makes the other 167 hours seem just so.
People come in super positive too. I think I'm naturally a positive person too, but it's just very uplifting to see all these great people doing great things. These kids, some are grown adults with doing the class too. So it's incredible. Yeah.
Weekly 1 hour recharge. I think everybody could use
sure.
something like that. Yeah. That's amazing. Completely off topic, because you just brought something on with naps.
Yeah.
Are the twins in sync with naps?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. So, I was going to say, because my 17-month-old, I don't know that he's in sync with himself with naps sometimes. So
we were definitely fortunate that all of our kids were good sleepers through the night. Yeah. The problem is when we had the twins, you're both in the same room, so for them to be perfectly in sync when they were first coming home, it didn't happen. So that was definitely the first time my wife and I felt overwhelmed as parents when we had the twins, because basically we have 3 under 3, and Gus is in diapers, so we have 3 kids in diapers, and that just, it was a lot.
Wow.
It's a lot.
Wow. Yeah. Chance is giving Amy a run for her money, and I say that because I'm right now just traveling like crazy.
Yeah.
And she's doing 99.9% of the intense day-to-day with everything, with the boys, with the animals and everything. And Danny slept like on command at birth. It seemed like he would go to sleep and he'd sleep for 10 or 12 hours, and he'd get up every 3 like clockwork for a bottle and then back to sleep. And Chance is just a party animal. Like he he goes to bed 9 o'clock, 9:30, and he's up between 12 and 2 for a while, and he just wants to dance and do whatever. And I could just imagine that if there were two Chances and not in sync, we'd just be walking. We feel like walking zombies as it is, but that's wild. That they're in sync together.
We're super happy when they go to bed, Tasha, because we love our kids more than anything, but my wife and I love each other more. So we love when we get our alone time for sure. So
get an occasional glass of wine and kick your feet up, and we're that's got to be really hard for. I mean, we're going to segue all over the place. That's what I do, I guess. But the time that you get alone, how important and how valuable that is, and probably how hard.
It's a lot, and with our oldest now, he's in sports, so we're running him all over for baseball right now, and I'm thinking there's so many parents doing it for 2 or 3 kids at the same time, going different ways, and I'm thinking, how do you do it? We're struggling to get our kids somehow to locate one kid. Nonetheless, what's that mean? What's the impact of the other 3? How do we divide and conquer? Or can we phone a friend and say, hey, can I drop Emerson off? Can you get him to and from practice? And it's a lot. We say, if we had our own YouTube channel, it'd probably do pretty well, because it's pretty crazy in our house.
You should do it. I think that I'd watch. I would absolutely watch.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I feel like I don't have enough time to even think it through.
Yeah, that's what makes it cool, right? That would be some of us. Some of us could watch and be like, oh man, we got it so crazy, and then all of a sudden turn on your YouTube channel and see you running around with your 4 going crazy, and the episode. It could be like a great comedic episode.
We joke all the time, because I don't know about you, but our home is pretty much a smart home, so we have Alexa devices all over. I'm thinking, I can only imagine what Alexa is absorbing from these every day. What's going on?
Oh yeah, we get occasionally. We'll say something that resembles Alexa, and it'll be in some rant of what we're saying or doing, and she'll be like, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. We're like, we don't understand what we're doing. So, it's just, thanks for letting us know, Alexa. But yeah, it is, where would we be without smart homes? I literally, I don't think I've touched a light switch in like the last 2 years, and if I had to, it would just take time away from my day of all the other stuff that we got to do.
We dabble just because I dabble because I think it's interesting and fun. But then it turns into we do this every day now. Yeah. We just basically Alexa, turn the lights on and off. Alexa, play whatever music, and it's all day long. Yeah. Because Gus does love music. He loves music. Yeah. So we have music basically playing all the time.
Have you gotten the new Alexa hub?
Not the hub, no.
The new Echo, the one that can connect to the dots around the house and all that.
Yeah. Yes.
That is like genius.
It is genius.
I'll give Jeff Bezos a free plug. We did that. we got that because that was always the problem, right? You could have Alexas all over the house, but none of them were in sync. Yep, and now we get that hub, and it says, Alexa, play Jason Mraz's whole house, and next thing you know, you've got full surround sound in your entire house synced up. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yep. I mean, you talk about that stuff, like you start dabbling in it, and all of a sudden you find out. Like I was doing I sat in a class last week that said that the average person has 8 connected devices to the internet at any given point in time. So I was like, geez, I got to check this out. So I just went to my smart device at home, and it was 36. 36 devices. Jeez. Between, the Ring doorbells, the Ring cameras, the Nest thermostats, the TP-Link smart switches, all that. Yeah, all this, and the light bulbs. I mean, you can connect anything and everything. 36 just in smart devices, and I was dumb. I'm like, I just blew the average right out of the water. But it does. It makes it
I think
makes
we're hitting
things.
the average, actually.
It makes it interesting and scary.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question we're being listened to.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, as long as I think we're decent people, so I think we'll be okay. But,
Yeah, well, I mean, you get just bundled up into the masses of everybody. So I mean, if, one little mishap here or there, it's the smart home and smart. Do you use the calendar, the Alexa alert for calendaring? Like, you use scheduling all the stuff you got to do?
I have a system of how I do all my calendar stuff for work and everything, so no, I don't do it through Alexa. No. But
That's Amy and I are struggling with the syncing up of calendars. She's huge into the paper, and I've got like 4. So for Dude, I've got the Salesforce calendar that we got to keep up with all of my travel. But I also put it in an Outlook calendar, and I was trying to put it in a shared Google calendar, and I'm like, I'm spending half my day just doing calendar work that I got to sync up and figure something out. And I was thinking about figuring out a way to do it through Alexa, because I'll tell you what was interesting. We've gone completely off topic on this, but a year ago, so it'll be a year. I told you it started Be Awesome June 19th, 2018. And a year ago, obviously, not a lot of listeners with the podcast. It's grown dramatically and amazingly. And it started last year that it was like 97%. The first 3 episodes were people that will listen to it on their laptop. So not a lot of avid podcast listeners. Then the pendulum started to swing as more more podcast people listened. It was going to smartphones. I looked at a statistic on the last statistic. 22% of people that listen to my podcasts are on a smart device, or on Alexa or the Google Home. 22%, which I thought that was really cool, because everybody thinks that people just listen to podcasts in their car in their drive. Yeah. And the reality is 22% are unless they have Alexa in their car. Or Google Home in their car, they're listening. They're listening at home from their smart device, which is really cool, because I haven't even figured out how to listen. I tell Alexa to play my podcast or a podcast, and she just starts talking gibberish, and I can't understand. I just go back to listening to music. So, so that was a huge segue to smart homes. Yeah. So let's get back closing out here. Let's get back to you said you wanted to do some. You had some ideas of what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I think just because of the, obviously we think our kids are awesome and great, and they are, and but I feel like I can look at things from an unbiased opinion. Gus has a magnetic personality. Mm-hmm. People are drawn to him in a great way. They want to be around him. Mm-hmm. If I take him to a varsity basketball game, there's so many good young kids that come up and just want to give him a high five and sit by him. And Gus is a hugger; he likes to hug. So I just think I have to think about what I could do for Gus, because he can do a lot for a community as a whole. Just because he's just such a positive. He has such a positive impact. And if you'd walk down an aisle here at this conference, just walk down the middle, I guarantee you, the majority would look at him and just smile at him, because he just exudes that positive, awesome energy all the time. And I just don't know how. I thought, I gotta see how I can harness this for him. Yep. But there's no plans, not to do anything other than just share Gus with the world, because I think he's that great.
Well, I think there's something with that diverse abilities. I think that if that grows, and as that grows, I think that a strong connection there. I got a bunch of contacts at the YMCA. I'm going to be reaching out to them and asking them about it. I think whatever it is, it is going to be awesome. Just based on what I've learned about your family in the limited amount of time, what I've understood about Gus, the pictures that you shared with me, it's obvious that you guys are doing it right. You're smiling and you're happy, and you're taking challenges as they come head on, and you're winning, and that's something a lot of folks don't get to do and can't do, and with a lot less challenge in their life. Right. So keep doing what you're doing. And I really appreciate the fact that you walked up, introduced yourself, and shook your hand. This has been a great 35 minutes with you, and we got to get to work. We're actually as you know, my podcasts are all over the place. We just took a breakout room that's going to be occupied in about 2 minutes. So before the noise happens, we're gonna cut this short. We'll have to do this again. Maybe
Sure.
maybe we'll do we'll have you up, and we can have the Taravanians and you guys, and we'll do a shared podcast for next year's.
I think that'd be awesome. That'd be great.
Act of kindness exposure,
Yes.
and letting the world know. So let's go enjoy the day. Appreciate you for doing this, and that's it for us here from Ocean City, Maryland. As always, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary. It'd be awesome. If you haven't seen it, I actually have a 1-year anniversary shirt. Super awesome. It's on the website, beausm.com. $3 of every shirt for that is going to go towards the Massachusetts School on Wheels, which supports homeless children in Massachusetts, provides backpacks, scholarships, and all sorts of other great things to help our kids and give them the opportunity to share their talent and their abilities with the world better. And as always, the comments and the likes, especially on the podcast, if you can rate and review, that's what gets my name out there. That's what gets me up in the rankings, and that's what gets me opportunities like being able to come out to Maryland, 500 miles away from home, and have a guy named Jared walk up to me and say that he's listened to my podcast and it had a direct touch and tie to him. So really appreciate everybody doing the ratings and reviews. You do one on the iTunes podcast and it shows up. Just drop me an email. I'll put something in the mail for you. Your time is valuable. It's something you're giving me that you can't get back. So do a rating and review, T-shirt, coffee mug. I actually have a handful of hats, which are pretty cool. You tell me what you want, and I'll drop it in the mail for you. So in the meantime, to be awesome, you got to do awesome. And Jared, you're absolutely doing it. So everybody have a great day. Thank you.